So in this tutorial we are going to learn how to do a two-handed isolation. So the basic theory with the isolation is that we have the hula hoop, which is like a clock. So I'm going to start with my hand, right-handed, so right hand, but obviously if you're left-handed you can use your left hand. My wrist is facing up, it's facing the sky. For strength you can put your thumb here on the hula hoop, and we're going to imagine that we have a clock. So we're starting at 12 o'clock and then we're going to bring it around to 3. And so you want to just practice getting your hand from 12 till 3 and keeping the hula hoop in the same place. Then once that feels easy, you can take it down to 6. So moving and keeping the hula hoop in the same position. So what's super important with this one is that my arm is straight and strong. So I'll pull this up so you can see a bit more. But yeah, I have a super straight and strong arm, and the movement is kind of coming from my shoulder. So my arm is keeping straight the whole time. And so you really need to learn how to keep your how this feels in space. This is how I always like to teach it. It's like how this feeling feels in space. So now my right hand is here, my left hand is going to cross over. Now this is where it gets kind of tricky. So you want to, we can first practice just with the left hand, because that's also difficult. So getting again from 6 until 9, 6 until 9, getting that comfortable, and then up all the way to the top, back to 12, and then practice down to 6. So really practicing this, practice in front of a mirror, always super helpful. And yeah, you need to get this, used to the feeling of your arm in space with this one. And the most important thing that you will learn for this trick is look through the hoop, not at the hoop. So you really want to be looking directly through the center of your hula hoop. If I start looking at what I'm doing here, it's getting all wonky. Starts doing this is not what we want. We want to keep this beautiful isolation and this illusion going on. So yes, we're going to practice how we were starting from. We're going from a different move, and then we can take it here. Then you want to take your right hand on the top and your left hand on the bottom. So now the right hand is on the top. I'm going to keep my left hand here, but I'm just going to open my hand. So it's kind of like loose, and the hula hoop can still move. But now I haven't done anything weird with my hands, and we can immediately flow into the two-handed isolation together. Now what's super, super important with this is that you have to you have to imagine that your two hands are friends. You know, they're really good friends, but sometimes one is the boss and sometimes the other one is the boss. But when my left hand is the boss, for example, then my right hand is rolling over the back of the left. So explaining this now. So now we're at 6 o'clock. So the second hand, my left hand, could be your right, is going to be in control. So my first hand is going to open, and it rolls over the back of the first hand until we reach this position of 12 o'clock, where my right hand is now in control. The left hand is rolling over the back of the other one. Now the left one is in control. So the left is always the boss on this side, the right is the boss on this side. But they're such good friends, they never want to be parted. So they always are attached to each other at some point. And so you can get this beautiful isolation with two hands quite nicely. Like I said, practice this in front of the mirror, and this will definitely helps. So you get used to the feeling of your arms in space following the shape of the hula hoop. And yes, so we have a two-handed isolation here. For those who want to try one hand, I will go through this theory too. So again, I'm going to start in my start position. Remember, your start position is super, super important. It is, if I start down here, then to get my hand all the way to the bottom and keep the hula hoop in exactly the same place means that I'm going to have to come all the way down here, which is making life way more difficult for myself than if I just started up here. So from here, the hand is going to get to about 8 o'clock, depending on how flexible you are. Yeah, some people can get much further, some people can get all the way. But my point of starting to feel uncomfortable is here. And then from this point then, what I need to do is to maintain contact with the hula hoop in its shape until I can reach it and grab it again. And what helps with this is to do this bit super quickly. So this part where you are maintaining the shape of the hoop is super quick. So in this moment, yeah, you open your hand and trace the shape of the hoop, so keeping it in space like this. But my tip for you really is to master the two-handed isolation, and it will make the one-handed isolation much, much easier.